This tutorial will introduce you to the SSH remote connection. We will use SSH to connect as a remote shell to our FreeBSD machine, and we will connect from Windows, and we will connect to FreeBSD from Ubuntu Linux. You will also be able to connect through SSH if you use a Mac, for example, because Mac has a terminal that you can enter, and you should be able to SSH through there also. So it will be the same command as we use in the Linux-like system, for example, or FreeBSD. Alright, so on a FreeBSD server, if you didn't disable the SSH during the installation, it will be enabled, of course, because that is default enabled in case you haven't disabled it. And if you want to check if it's enabled, you simply do like this. First, you can check the rc.conf file like this. And then you might notice that sshd enable equals yes means that it's enabled and it will start when the computer starts. In case it's not on, or if you want to restart it, for example, you do like this, /etc rc.d followed by sshd, and then you can run start, you can run stop command, you can run restart command like this. So let's say I want to stop it, and then I can do start. So that's how we control the stop and start it. And let's say that I want to connect from the Linux machine to this machine. Then I need to think of that FreeBSD by default, I cannot log in with a root account through SSH because that's not permitted by default. It's very easy to remove this and permit root instead to be able to log in. So we start with just having a normal user login to the system to start with then. And then after I will show you how to enable the root login. So to start with, we need to know the IP address of this machine, which is the FreeBSD server. If you run ifconfig, you would get the information you need. For example, this is EM0, the card that I'm using. And you can see inet, you have the IPv4 address here we are looking for, 192.168.0.9, so we need to remember this one. So let's go to our Linux machine. Here we have the terminal open in Ubuntu Linux, and I'm going to connect to my FreeBSD machine. The command is very simple to make an SSH connection. It's simply like this: SSH followed by the username we want to log in with on the remote machine at the IP address or the host name if you're having it connected to a domain thingy. Yeah, now I'm running the SSH daemon on the default port. I always suggest that not running it on a default port, it's better to keep it on another one, because else we will get hammered if it's online. So if I do like this simply now, I connect by pressing the return key. It checks that if we have the fingerprint here, and we don't have the fingerprint, we haven't accepted it. If I want to accept the fingerprint from this server and it looks okay, I say yes here. And then it wants to have the password for the user, so I'm making a secure login now. Password is not sent in clear text, it's sent encrypted, which is very good. Okay, this looks familiar, right? Welcome to FreeBSD. And now I'm actually connected to the server, to this one. And if on FreeBSD, if I type the command let's say who, I can see that the root user I'm connected to the terminal here, and Floken is connected remotely. You can see the IP address here. He's connected from the machine with his IP. So that's how you can see if you have some remote connection going in. Okay, so I want to log out now, and I just type exit here. So let's clear the screen and see how we can connect from different port. If I run this command again and want to connect from a different port, you simply make this option like this. this would connect to the same machine, but on the port number 7000 instead. If I type now and try this, it stands that connection refused because the machine is not running on that port. So it's not harder than that to connect from another port then. Let's say that we want to connect to this FreeBSD machine from a Windows machine. And before I continue, I forgot to say that this is the same if you're running a Mac OS X, then you connect through the terminal in this way as you did on Linux. And on FreeBSD it's also the same, and all the other system if you want to connect between them. So now let's go to the Windows side. Windows cannot connect by default because it doesn't have that at all. Instead we need to download a client, a very known one called Putty. Let's see if I can get... so I'm going to Google for it. And then this is the correct one, as I know. And here you have a lot of useful tools that I like very much, and I think many people like, of course. We are looking for this one, putty.exe. I'm going to download this. And after this file is downloaded, you can simply just launch it. And this is very straightforward. Here is the IP address on the machine, or the host name that we want to connect to. The port 22 is default, and that's the one we are using on that machine right now. Okay, now it's a different thing. You don't need to add a root or the, fluken or the username @ for example. You can just simply go ahead by clicking open. And here is the fingerprint if you want to accept it. And here I can select the username right now. And I'm connected from Windows to my FreeBSD machine here, you can see. And it's nice, of course. Ain't harder than that, of course, so it's very nice. I think the next step you want to do is to be able to log in as root, because sometimes you want to have that option. Some prefer to have a normal account and to be just substitute to root, to change user to root after logging as normal. It's a matter of taste and security, how you define your security and things like that. So I think that in next video now we're going to look at how to enable the root in case you want to have that enabled. And then after I will show a very nice thing that we actually can send files through the SSH by SFTP. That's a very, very cool feature I really like. Okay, let's go to the other video and we check how to log in as root.